عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه وأرضاه قال. Tonight's hadith is from the collection of Abu Dawood, and it's an authentic chain of narration narrated to us by Abu Hurairah رضي الله عنه. He said that the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: لا يشكر الله من لا يشكر الناس. لا يشكر الله من لا يشكر الناس. Most of us probably heard this hadith, and it's a very beautiful short hadith that we're talking about the theme of gratitude from the past few weeks. So inshallah we'll continue with this very brief and beautiful hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet ﷺ saying that those who do not thank people do not thank Allah. Those who do not thank people are not thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What this hadith is teaching us is that any good that anybody does for you actually comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala utilizes people and His creation to deliver blessings from Him to you and I. Allah utilizes people. And so when somebody does an act of kindness for you, or says kind words, or helps you out, or supports you, or gives you something of value like a gift or a present or their precious time, what we have to start seeing is that all of this comes from Allah. All of this comes from Allah. We have to start connecting the good that people do for us, the khair, it's coming from Allah. وَمَا بِكُم مِّن نِعْمَةٍ فَمِنَ اللَّهِ. Any good that comes to you, any blessing that comes to you, is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so how do we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for these blessings that people deliver to us? Because Allah uses people as means and delivery mechanisms. And the Prophet ﷺ is teaching us to thank Allah for those blessings. You thank people. You are thankful to people. That's how you thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when you thank somebody, when you show appreciation for what they've done, what you're doing is acknowledging that this good is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the first point. And the second and last point, inshallah ta'ala, that Islam is teaching us about gratitude because we need a community that is built on gratitude. A community that is built on gratitude recognizes the value of people, their hard work, and appreciates it. And so when we do acts of good to each other, we need to reciprocate that by showing gratitude and thankfulness. And say, Jazakallah khairan, or do something nice for somebody that helps you out. Right? This is important because it builds the community. Positivity. When you build positivity between the community members, when you have an atmosphere of appreciation and support, it strengthens the community. We all know that structures, when they break down, why do they break down? Because their internal bonds are weak. When something is weak internally, then you apply a force externally, you break it down. And so a community that strengthens the bonds within will resist forces from the outside that try to destroy it. This is why it's important to be thankful and show appreciation to each other. But also showing appreciation causes a ripple effect. When people feel valued, they continue to do work. And they inspire other people to do work. It's like a chain reaction. And so that chain reaction, imagine if everybody showed everybody else gratitude, how much change we would have in our ummah. Just by simply recognizing each other. And this is very important that we start doing this and we reflect on this. How many times do we reflect on, what people around me, what my loved ones, my family members, my community members do for me in the community, right? Because parents, they do a lot of unseen work that their children don't see. Your parents are not going to come tell you, I do this, right? Show appreciation to your parents. Your spouse is not going to tell you, I sacrifice this and this and this. Show appreciation for that. Your colleagues, your friends, your classmates, show them appreciation, even for the little things. It makes a huge difference. This is the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Alayhi salatu wasalam was amazing at this. When good would come to him from people, when help would come, he would recognize them. He would praise them publicly. He would stop what he's doing and make dua for them publicly. We have narrations that tell us this. Even his spouses, he would recognize for the smallest things they would do and say good things to them and about them. So we need to start doing that for us, for our families, for our communities, because this is extremely important. Gratitude. This is how you build a community that is strong. And I'll finish off with this, inshallah ta'ala. Now, if you do something good, right? The danger becomes, and this is the caution, is that you expect people to thank you. And what I'm going to tell you, inshallah ta'ala, is please do not do actions and wait for thank you. Do not do an action and wait for appreciation. From your perspective, you give out appreciation to show value for people. For you, when you do something good, do not expect thank you from people, because that mixes your intention. Because now if you're doing it to get thanks from people, your reward with Allah is gone. That people will thank you and your reward is gone. It's important to keep that reward because you're doing it for Allah. So when somebody thanks you, two things you can think of. A, that person is thanking me because what they're doing by thanking me is they're thanking Allah. I don't deserve thanks. I'm just a messenger of good from Allah. Allah picked me to deliver the good. I had nothing to do with it. If He chose, subhanahu wa ta'ala, He would have picked anybody else. But He picked me, and that thank you to me is actually to Him, subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's number one. What you can also say to yourself is that I'm actually grateful to Allah that He picked me to deliver that khair, to help that person in need, because Allah could have picked from a lot more people. And Allah chose me to fulfill His will, subhanahu wa ta'ala, and so for that I am thankful. I don't become proud, I don't expect a reward from people, I just seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to continue using me to fulfill His will and support the community. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those who are grateful to each other, to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a beautiful characteristic of the believer. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those. يروي أبو داود في سننه بسند صحيح عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه وأرضاه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يشكر الله من لا يشكر الناس. صدق رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. سبحانك اللهم